Welcome back to another session, my dedicated learners. I suspect many of you are familiar with a frustrating problem. You spend hours diligently memorizing long lists of new words, repeating them until you think you have them down, yet when the moment comes to speak, the words simply vanish. You find yourself searching your memory, struggling to form sentences, and feeling like your vocabulary is just not good enough. But what if I told you the problem isn't your memory? The problem is likely your method. Today, we are going to explore how to transform the way you learn vocabulary, shifting from aimless memorization to true mastery. The quiet library was the perfect setting for a breakthrough. Elena sat across from her friend Marcus, who was staring at a notebook filled with columns of isolated English words. He looked completely defeated. "Elena," Marcus said, rubbing his eyes, "I give up. I've memorized 50 words today, and I can't remember half of them. It's like they just fall out of my brain as soon as I close the book." Elena smiled gently. "Marcus, you're trying to build a house by scattering bricks everywhere instead of using mortar. You're learning words, but you aren't learning how to use them. Have you ever tried to look into different memory techniques?" "Look into?" Marcus asked, looking up. "I thought that meant to look through a window." That's a common confusion. To look into something means to investigate or research a topic to understand it better. We need to look into how your brain actually works. You see, your brain hates isolated lists. It craves connections. The first rule is never learn a word by itself. Always learn it in context. And always learn it in context. "But that takes longer," Marcus protested. "It takes longer now, but it saves time in the long run. If you learn the word decide, don't just write it down. Write a sentence. I decided to take the train today. When you see the word in a sentence, you learn how it functions. You'll pick up the grammar naturally." Pick up? Like picking up a pen? Exactly. But in this context, to pick up means to learn something new, often in a natural or informal way. By seeing words and sentences, you pick up the patterns without having to study boring grammar charts. Marcus nodded slowly. "Okay, context. What else?" "Mnemonic devices, the art of association," Elena said. "Our brains are built for stories and images, not text. Let's say you want to learn the word thrifty, which means someone who is careful with money. Visualize a person literally thrifting, searching through a pile of clothes to find a bargain. Create a ridiculous, funny image in your mind. The weirder the image, the more likely you are to remember it." Marcus chuckled. "I can definitely visualize that. But what about forgetting? I learn a word today, and by next week it's gone." "That is where spaced repetition comes in," Elena said, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial tone. "This is the most powerful tool you'll ever use. It's not about how many times you repeat a word today. It's about when you repeat it. You review the word 1 hour later, then the next day, then 3 days later, then a week later. You bring up the information right before your brain is about to forget it. That process locks it into your long-term memory." Bring up, like bringing up a topic in a meeting? Spot on. In this case, to bring up means to make a memory surface or reappear in your mind. By forcing your brain to bring up the word at specific intervals, you strengthen the neural pathway. Marcus started flipping through his notebook. "This is a completely different way of thinking. Are there other methods?" "Oh, plenty. There's the keyword method, where you link a new word to a word in your own language that sounds similar. And there's active recall, where instead of reading your notes over and over, you close your book and force yourself to explain the word to an imaginary student. If you can't explain it, you don't know it yet. You need to go over your notes until you can teach it. Go over? Marcus asked. To look at them again? Yes, to go over something means to review or check it carefully. We should go over your list right now and turn those isolated words into a story. Marcus took a deep breath. Okay, let's try. The word is ambiguous. It means unclear or having two meanings. Perfect. Now give me a sentence or an image, Elena prompted. I'm looking at a sign that says bank, but I don't know if it's a river bank or a money bank. It's ambiguous. Elena clapped her hands. Fantastic! You just learned that word through context and a mental image. Now you just need to ensure you follow up on it tomorrow. Follow up? Yes, to follow up means to do something to add to an earlier action or to check on something. If you learn the word today, you follow up by reviewing it tomorrow, then again in a few days. Marcus spent the next hour transforming his list of columns into a series of short, funny stories. He used pictures, he used sentences, and he made sure to connect each new word to something he already cared about. He felt his anxiety melting away. He wasn't just working harder, he was working smarter. I feel like I'm finally getting through to my brain, Marcus said, laughing. Getting through? Elena teased. That sounds like breaking down a wall. It does. To get through means to succeed in communicating with someone, or in this case, succeeding in making an idea stick in my head. I've been struggling with these words for months, but suddenly the logic is clear. Elena watched as Marcus continued to write. He was no longer staring blankly at the page. He was active, he was engaged, and he was using his imagination. Remember, Elena said softly, don't try to cram too much. If you feel tired, take a break. Don't try to run through a whole chapter of a dictionary in one sitting. It's better to learn 5 words deeply than 50 words shallowly. Run through? Like running a race? Exactly. To run through means to read or practice something quickly from beginning to end. It's the opposite of what we're doing. We're doing slow, deep work. As the sun began to set, the library grew quieter. Marcus closed his notebook, a satisfied smile on his face. He finally had a system, a strategy that actually relied on how human beings think. He knew he wouldn't be searching for words in his memory anymore. He would be calling them up from his own internal library. I'm excited to try this at home, Marcus said. I'm going to set aside 30 minutes every day for my spaced repetition. Set aside? To reserve time for a specific purpose, Marcus said, looking proud of himself. And I won't just look at my books, I'll look for those words in the podcasts I listen to. Now you're really catching on, Elena said with a wink. Marcus laughed. I think I'm going to be just fine. In today's session, we have explored several powerful methods for remembering new vocabulary. We looked at context, the power of mnemonics, and the effectiveness of spaced repetition. Try all of them, see which ones feel most comfortable and natural for you, and remember that there is no best way, only the way that works for your unique mind. I wish you the very best of luck in mastering the English language. Keep exploring, stay curious, and see you next time.